Hello everybody, this is Dren608. Departing from my normal unconditional surrender video series, I'm going to do a short video here of some of the things I added to the Civil War Vassal module created by the WGA team. This game has been out of print for decades. It was originally designed by Eric Lee Smith, published by Victory Games, which is no longer available. They did a very nice job with the module here. Everything's represented. All the optional rules that they've created over the years and codified into a document which you can find on Board Game Geek and Consim World, I believe. It's a very effective module. It has some nice bonuses like the railroad control markers have a little R on them and things like that. One of the things that the module did not have, which I found troubling, was the ability to have hidden leaders when you bring them in from the leader pool like you did in the original game. You also could not hide the markers, the resource markers to tell you what was your primary, secondary, and tertiary. I can never say that word. The third one, this one. What I've done is added a mask option. In order to do that, I had to add sides to the module. So I could not make it an extension because I had to change a base level of the module to allow for sides. So this is actually a new version of the module. Hopefully they are not going to find any problems with me going ahead and uploading one. I will contact them about that in a little, as soon as I get done with this video. So I'm currently signed on as the Union player. One of the things that you can do in the resource thing is you can clone and then mask. And what this does allows you to do is you can have, oops, I didn't want to clone that one. Get rid of that. And we'll clone this one and mask it. By having a second set of these masked like this, is that you can assign your different things for next turn and still keep a record of everything that was going on, this turn. Who was primary, secondary, tertiary. Can't pronounce that word. So that when you get ties in the differential, you'll know which one was your primary, secondary, and so on. And you also will have record of what you put down for next turn. And as I said, since you have sides, I can click on this, but right-clicking, I can't do anything. Control M won't work. So I can't tell, even inadvertently, what he might have played, my opponent might have played. Will this work in play by email? Well, you can always log on to Solitaire and see all this. If your opponent's that desperate to win, then maybe that's not somebody you should be playing, I guess. You can also just use their original system. I haven't changed anything. I didn't delete anything. All I did was add some things. So this mask option is there. It's really nice if you're playing live over Vassal. Then you can, keep track of things like this. The other thing I added was in the leaders. The leaders are now maskable, not just flip, but by Control M, you mask and unmask them. And one of the things you can do is, like, I can pick up my opponent's leader. One of the conventions I kind of like to do is say, okay, I'm going to take a leader and I'm going to put it, say, in Nashville. And then the Union player goes over and grabs and says, okay, you're going to take this guy and we'll put him down in Nashville. And then the Confederate player can peek at it, which I'll show you with the Union forces. So say the Union get somebody and they put it in Cincinnati, and they want to find out who it is, they can go Shift P, we'll show it to them, and then they just click anywhere off of it and it goes away. And it should not show up on your opponent's screen. You'll just be the one that sees it. When you want to move this leader, like that, you'll notice up here in the log, right here, that it simply says USA leader ? Because it doesn't know who it is. Now, let's assume that I unmask this guy because he's in combat or something. Now, if I move him, you'll see him actually say, Rosecrans was moved. Okay? So, it'll record just a question mark leader if he's masked. If he's not masked, you'll be able to see who it is in the log. That's essentially all I've really added to the module. I did do a couple of other things. One of the things that I get complaints by my opponents that they roll too many ones. So what I did is on each of the die rolls, I'm going to hit each die roll button so you can see them. You'll see not only the result, the 1d6 equals twister, 4, 3, 5, 13 for the d20, so on. And then 3, 4 for the 2d6. What I added was the player's side, besides your name. So that if you're just trying to compare, did the USA have better luck or did the CSA have better luck, really doesn't matter which player rolled the dice. It's the side that rolled the dice as well. It's just sort of an added little bonus to be able to say, hey, look, the USA rolled all these numbers, and helps you track which die roll belongs to who, if you can't remember which person's playing which side. Shouldn't be a problem when you're playing live in play by email. I thought this would be useful to be able to say, yeah, these are all USA die rolls for whatever they're trying to do. Okay. Other than that, I haven't added anything to it. Everything's the same. I did add this. As you saw, I had to delete an extra duplicate of something that I cloned. Knowing that I could possibly do that, I added that these counters, the track markers, are available for you to grab and pull off in case you inadvertently delete them or something, because I had to allow that for people that clone things too many times or whatever. But that's all I added. It took me a day, like maybe 3 hours to add all that programming to the module. And then I rebuilt the 1861 model from blank map or whatever. I put everything down so that all the counters have the right orientation and whatnot. So yeah, this is a very good module. It makes the game playable again. The WGA has written up what they call third edition rules, or they called lots of different things. They clarified some things with conversations with Eric Lee Smith, the designer of the game. They clarified a few things. They've added quite a few optional rules. Things about like armies needing to have multiple named leaders in order to make all their points effective in combat. It's kind of a force to make you have to use some of these horrible red numbered leaders, both on the Union. South doesn't have so many bad ones to deal with, but I think it marginally pushes it a little bit easier for the South, myself. I always found when I was playing this game, if you're playing the South, you really can't afford any major blunder, and you can't make very many minor mistakes. And with the North, you can maybe get away with one blunder, a really bad move or something, but after that, you can't afford any others. And then it comes down to who makes the minor mistakes. They have lots of optional rules that make sense. Clarifications like there's always this problem of when you're moving from the ocean into the navigable rivers, what fort gets to shoot who, where, when, and how. They came up with a table that says, if you're going into this hex, this fort gets to shoot X amount of times. So at least you knew. Now it's like, okay, we can argue on whether that's really a hex or whatever, but by just summarizing it with the forts and telling you how many shots they get, it makes your life easier. You can just say, okay, I get X amount of shots because you went by this fort or whatever. And kind of clarifies things, especially down here in New Orleans, where there's all these impassable hex sides and coastal hexes and things. And it's like, how many times does Fort Pike actually get to shoot at you and things like that. So it's kind of important to know, how many times these forts are actually getting to shoot at people. So, I like that summary. I like a lot of the clarifications that they made. Make sense. They have an alternate rule on how leaders get promoted. Again, I'm not sure that doesn't really help the South over the Union. But then they also have variant leaders for the Union in the South to kind of alleviate what they did with the number of leaders that get promoted and when. So I don't know. I haven't played it enough with the optional rules to be able to tell you good or bad. I think it's worth a try. It's a great classic game. The one thing that it was missing that always kind of bothered me was the whole political pressure for, making sure a McClellan was here and a Halleck was there and Buell had to get a command because of whatever reason. The political game is just not in this. This is basically the battles with sort of a abstracted leader system where you can remove bad ones or people you don't want to lead an army anymore, stuff like that. There is an optional rule I saw on Board Game Geek somewhere that somebody wrote up some political optional rules for when you have to make people like Butler and Buell and so on and get commands. I haven't played with those rules. I think that probably addresses some of the issues that I always had with the game, was that the whole political situation wasn't represented, which was, I would say, half of Lincoln's problems, was that he had too much political pressure from different governors and political party leaders that, this person has to have a command, and give him his chance. And then, they would do horribly, and then Lincoln would have a reason to replace them with somebody else. So, yes, I'm a history major. I've studied I was military history oriented, so I've studied lots of different things, the Civil War and World War II and so on. I do like this module. I think the addition of the hidden leaders, especially for face-to-face play, or not face-to-face, but over Vassal when you're playing head-to-head, it will make it a little bit more like the board game in that you don't know what that guy's leader is sitting in Cincinnati until you actually fight him. You do have to kind of be on the honor system that, if I have a 3-point leader here, I'm going to spend 3 commands to move him and not cheat if he's a 4 commander. Ultimately, you can go into solitaire and do a replay and you can see if your opponent messed up and missed something. But in general, when you play these games, you're playing to have fun, recreate history, see what you can do better. I've never found anybody that had to win at all costs that they would cheat, at least on purpose. Inadvertently, yeah, we all forget stuff. That's normal in any game. So there you have it. I hope you like this little video. I will be trying to post this up into the Vassal module library. I'm going to contact the WGA and see if it's okay for me to put it into their page, and if not, I will try to start a new page just for this so people can download it, play around with it, tell me if I've missed anything, if I've messed anything up, or whatnot. So this is Dren608. I will see you next time. Don't know what video I'll be doing then, but leave me comments, subscribe to my channel, and we will see you when we see you. Bye-bye.